Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is May 16, 2026, and Barcelona now considering legal action against El Cono, the Cone, Arbeloa. Also, Marcus Rashford suggesting a 5-year contract to guarantee his transfer to Barcelona. And finally, what's happening with Ter Stegen? We do have an update. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. We'll begin this video with the news that Barcelona are now considering legal action against El Cono, or the Cone, Arbeloa. Now this legal action comes after, of course, the statements made by Florentino Perez, who I discussed on this channel. Florentino Perez, of course, during a press conference said that the referees had robbed them of 7 league titles and that referees were getting rich off the money or the briberies that they were receiving from Barcelona. This, of course, has gotten Florentino Perez in trouble. In fact, the Association of Referees have filed a legal complaint against them. And now Barcelona are considering doing the same. But not only is Barcelona considering legal action against old grandpa here who forgot to take his medicines and went on an unhinged rant, but they're also now considering legal action against Real Madrid's coach Arbeloa, because Arbeloa was asked about these statements during a pre-match press conference. Like, hey, what do you think about Florentino Perez saying that Real Madrid got robbed of 7 league titles? And well, this was the response of the Cone. Of course, we all know what has happened over the last 20 years. Surely there are things we don't know. It's neither legal nor does it make sense to those of us involved in this competition. It's unbelievable that only Real Madrid wants to uphold the law in football. Okay. It's a feeling shared by all Madrid fans. So, ladies and gentlemen, Arbeloa, who of course did the only thing he knows how to do, because he doesn't even know how to coach, which is kiss up to his boss, Florentino Perez, agreed with his statements. So now Barcelona consider legal action against him, which the same thing I said about Florentino Perez. Barcelona should absolutely take legal action against them, because people need to learn. You can't go around making accusations without any basis. And that, ladies and gentlemen, words have consequences. And if you're not willing to put up with those consequences, well, then you better keep your mouth shut. You didn't? Well, time to face the consequences. Now, Fermin Lopez was asked about these statements, and well, this is what the Barcelona midfielder had to say about Florentino Perez's statements. While Florentino Perez has said cannot be true, because Lionel Messi, Andres Iniesta, and Xavi Hernandez were playing, it is impossible that Barcelona have stolen league titles. Pretty much one of the simplest way to discredit this whole Negreira fiasco. I mean, for starters, it's been 3 years since the investigation has been opened. Not a single shred of evidence that Barcelona bribed any referees or influenced the competition. Second, the math ain't mathing. Barcelona paid Negreira's company 7.1 million euros over 18 years. If you divide that by 18 years, it's like 300,000 a year. You're telling me that Barcelona were bribing 20 referees who make 300,000 euros a year each over the course of 38 matches with 300,000 euros? That math ain't mathing. And 3, the easiest one, you don't need evidence. You don't need to do the math. Just go back and watch Barcelona matches. You're telling me those Pep Guardiola's Barça, Tito Villanova's Barça, Pep Guardiola's Barça, Luis Enrique's Barça needed the help of referees? Have you seen the matches from those eras with Xavi, Iniesta, Sergio Busquets? Have you seen those matches? I mean, just by watching them, you can right away tell that they did not need the help of referees. But anyways, whatever floats the boat of Florentino Perez and whatever distracts away from the horrendous management of the club that he's currently overseeing. Anyways, on to the next bit of news, because Marcus Rashford, ladies and gentlemen, has offered or suggested a 5-year contract to facilitate his move to Barcelona. Now, as you know by now, Rashford's loan ends at the end of the season. He would like to stay at Barcelona, but Barcelona are not willing to pay the 30 million euro option to buy that it's in Rashford's contract. Barcelona have tried to negotiate a lower price. They've even tried to negotiate a second loan. But Manchester United have said absolutely not. You either pay the 30 million or you cannot have him. And as a result, Rashford is now suggesting that Barcelona sign him for 5 years Why 5 years? Because that would allow Barcelona to spread the transfer fee over more years, which would lessen the financial fair play impact. Because if you don't know by now, when you sign a player, you have to take his transfer fee and divide it up by the years you sign him for, and that factors into your wage bill every year, plus his salary. So, for example, if Barcelona signed Rashford for 3 years and they paid a 30 million, you divide the 30 million by 3 years, that's 10 million a year that Barcelona have to factor into their financial fair play, plus the salary. But if Barcelona signed Rashford for 5 years, you divide the 30 million by 5 years. Now Barcelona only have to factor 6 million each year for the transfer fee as opposed to 10. So it lessens the impact on the financial fair play. Now, of course, as I've always maintained, I don't think Barcelona should spend a single dime on Marcus Rashford. As we've seen, he's highly inconsistent. He's not worth those 30 million euros plus the 20 million euros salary per season. Not to mention, 5 years, Rashford is 29 years old. If we sign him for 5 years, he's going to be at Barca for 30 until 34. If Rashford is highly inconsistent now at 29 in his prime, what is he going to look like at 33 or 34? Especially for a player like Rashford, who heavily relies on his speed. And as we know, speed declines quickly with age. And usually players who are able to extend their careers for a long time are players who don't have to rely on their speed, like Messi. Because even if he doesn't have to run, he can still distribute the ball, make those crazy passes that only he can make. That's why players like Messi can't play for so long. But players who usually rely heavily on their speed, they can't play for that long because speed declines. So if Rashford's already inconsistent at 29, what is he going to look like at 33, at 34, especially when his speed declines? Anyways, it's reported that Aston Villa are interested in Marcus Rashford. Please, Aston Villa, press for this. Please, Rashford, go to Aston Villa, because I have a feeling like Deco somehow, some way is going to still insist on his signing. God forbid. Anyway, speaking of wingers, ladies and gentlemen, Barcelona have ruled out the signing of the Moroccan winger Abde. And as I told you in a previous video, Barcelona had made an inquiry to see if they could sign Abde as or if Abde could be an option for that left wing position. Of course, in that video, I told you it's most likely that Barcelona were going to have to pay a lot of money for him because he's now currently one of the best players for Real Betis. Real Betis just qualified to the Champions League. He does have a release clause of 60 million euros. So given that the Champions League plus that Betis really rely on him, they're not going to have any incentive to negotiate for him. So the only way Barcelona would be able to sign him would be most likely to pay those 60 million euros, which of course Abde is not worth 60 million euros. In fact, I don't even think he is worthy of playing for Barcelona. I think Abde is a great player for a club like Real Betis. But the good news is now that Barcelona have ruled out this option. Thank God. I guess Deco does have some sense. So Abde is no longer an option being considered for that left wing. Now, let's end today's video with an update in regards to Marc ter Stegen. Because as you know by now, ter Stegen's loan ends at the end of the season. He's currently on loan with Girona. I think he only got to play one match and then got injured. Hasn't played ever since. So he will be coming back to the club in the summer. And of course, the question is, well, where will ter Stegen go next? So well, it appears that Ajax are currently interested in the German goalkeeper. But this move will be highly unlikely given that A, Ajax cannot afford ter Stegen's salary, and B, it's unlikely that ter Stegen will want to go to Ajax given that his kids currently live in Barcelona and he's sharing custody of the kids with his ex-wife. So, of course, that begs the question of what's going to happen then. Well, most likely either ter Stegen is going to stay in Barcelona or maybe a second loan to Girona. And once he fully recovers, that, of course, will be the best option for all parties involved, especially for ter Stegen because he gets to play while staying close to his kids. Girona get a world-class goalkeeper. And as far as Barcelona, they're most likely going to have to pay most of the salary. But at least by ter Stegen playing in Girona next season, maybe he can get the interest of some other club that they can take him off our hands. But anyways, we're gonna have to wait and see. It looks like this summer's gonna be a long one, trying to figure out what's gonna happen with ter Stegen. But of course, I'm gonna be here to let you know about all the updates. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, peace, Barça.